Hello, this is Derek Old School Fournier from WhatTheBuck.net coming to you after our Day 3 report from One Buck Place in 2014 training camp. Well, this was the day that the pads came on, and all of us were very excited, including Warren Sapp, former Buccaneer and Hall of Famer, who I got a chance to chat with in the morning, who I got to say I was tickled because his cell phone actually has a Buccaneers cover on it. There's no mistaking who Warren is supporting out there, and he was engaged throughout the day of practice, chirping with the guys and making sure that they were getting some feedback and chatting with Lovie Smith as well about the scheme that he's excited this team is going to be able to play this year. We did expect to see some significant contact today after Coach Smith made the comment that in the other practices he was intentionally reserving the players, making sure there wasn't contact so that on a pad day they could really go at it. The defensive line was violent going through their drills. Clearly they wanted to get engaged. The most contact that we saw was in a one-on-one drill that they ran where the blocker was essentially started with his back to the play. I looked as though it was a special teams drill. It would turn around and engage the defensive player, try and get them under control in a shoot. And depending on which player it was, they would either use one of their rush moves if they're defensive linemen, try and use speed, try and bolt through. And there were some good matchups like this chronicled by pewterreport.com on some of the individuals, but there were a number of shoots going simultaneously. That violence level was good. But in general, I got to tell you, after the conversation with Coach Smith, I expected to see a lot more violence. I think that they are doing a good job of controlling it and watching injuries. It was 105 degrees, the heat index. I was talking to the EMTs out there yesterday. They expected to and did deliver a number of IVs. It was sweltering. Now, what we really wanted to see was the 11 on 11s, and we wanted to see what the offensive line was going to do in 11 on 11s. Right now, the offense doesn't have a lot installed, or at least a lot that they're displaying. They may have more than they're showing. So the defense, even though they're normally going to be ahead of the offense at this part of training camp anyway, is going to be even more at an advantage because of the limited play call selection that the offense can make. But we can finally get a chance to see what that offensive line is going to do against a rush. And we see that they are using a zone scheme. They are moving side to side pretty athletically, actually. We're seeing a lot of pulling. We're seeing a lot of trap blocking, which can be very, very effective if we execute it well. And when we did execute it well yesterday, it was effective. When we didn't, the plays were blown up. That's what you'd expect. Offensive line continues to be a huge concern for me, the guard position specifically. The depth is just not there yet, and we don't have our cohesion yet. When we go to see the Jacksonville game, we're going to know a lot more about what this line can do because the defense here definitely knows what's going on. Means had a great day yesterday. He kept popping in 11 on 11s. And that surprised me. Not that I have anything against Means, but I just didn't expect him to be the one that popped. Overall, I said yesterday it was a sloppy practice. This was another sloppy practice, and on Twitter there was some conversation back and forth. I would caution you guys before you start making judgments about this to realize that math is going to win here. You're not going to have an entire training camp where people are 85%. That is not an apologetic. That is not me going rah-rah for the Bucs. That's just saying math works. We're going to have drop passes. We're going to have pass breakups. We're going to have inaccurate throws. All of the quarterbacks look pretty good out there right now. They're throwing the ball crisp. You're going to have some missed throws. McCown is head and shoulders above the other ones right now, but Mike Glennon's doing a good job. But then that's really where the differentiation happens between those two and the other two in camp. One thing that all the quarterbacks are doing consistently is they are underthrowing deep routes. This has to stop, and I think it will. I don't think they're used to these guys running at full speed. Training camp ups the ante a little bit, and all of these receivers who have a lot of speed are using it, and the quarterbacks have to use that and lay the ball out and let them go after it. The cornerbacks on the defense are doing a great job of not giving up when they're beaten off the line, and they're getting back there and getting a pass breakup because of the underthrown balls. I suspect that will happen even more so when we get to real games as the adrenaline level is higher and the speed goes another couple of tenths up, but I think the quarterbacks will be able to adjust as well. As far as other folks who stood out, Gerald McCoy definitely stood out yesterday. Mason Foster had that nice pick, and I made a comment to the Foster group that if he's going to make a pick, you better take it to the house. Otherwise, we're not sure we want that interception. So a good effort from the team. I won't be out there today, but hopefully we'll get more information on the offensive line, guys. We knew this going into camp that this was going to be the area of concern. It is still the area of concern, and it will be probably into game 4 of the year as these guys try and get their cohesion, which you need to have in a zone blocking scheme so they know what each other are going to be doing during the actual individual plays. A bright note, our running backs look really fast, guys, exceptionally fast, and they all look good coming out of the backfield. They all look pretty fluid, catching the ball. Doug Martin, Sims, Rainey, James, the stack looks very good. So we're going to continue to watch that. I think that fans will be very excited about what they can do. Our receiving core is learning to be physical coming off the line, and they're going to have to be. If you look at the basic install that we have now, I think I mentioned it yesterday, you see some comebacks, some bubbles, some quick slants. They're all short to intermediate routes that it looks like Coach Tedford is going to be using in order to get some of that pass rush off and force the defense to come into a press condition so that we can then use the rest of the playbook. Now, that's some conjecture, but I think that that's what's going to happen. Anyway, thanks for listening. I will not be out there today. The other local guys will keep you informed. You guys know that's the case. Follow us on @WhatTheBuck on Twitter, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.